going from water disinfection to surface disinfection, there is a lot of interest in surface disinfection. We follow very similar concept for that. So one of the things we really take into account over here is that we have two different types of LEDs actually. One which has a viewing angle of 105 degrees, and another one which has a viewing angle of approximately 15 degrees. And as you can see that depending on the height you place these LEDs, the coverage diameters are going to be different. And this is basically a simple math problem to figure this out, how much diameter it will cover. So what I've done is in the next table, I've actually taken into account that our Claron LED, which has a viewing angle of 105, and then our Opten ball lens, which has a viewing angle of 15 degrees. And I've placed it at a different distance. The area it will calculated what area it would cover, and what would be the density per square centimeter. And this is based on the 20 milliwatt diode for the Claron. And then, of course, finally, the dosage. What is the dosage we will get at those distances? And here you can see a note that it is basically based on a 60-second exposure time. Because to calculate the dosage, we need to know what the exposure time. In case of Opten ball lens LEDs, we have done the same thing. The LED power output actually is 3 milliwatt. The viewing angle is 15 degrees. And we have actually calculated the dosage required. Again, one of the things which is very critical here you need to remember is not the dosage number, but how much area it is covering. So if you place a 20 milliwatt diode at a distance of 1 centimeter, it is covering an area of 2.4 square centimeters, as opposed to only 0.5 square centimeters for Opten ball lenses. So yeah, on the next page, what I'm trying to do is try to show you a basic calculation of if you were trying to disinfect a surface using a UVC LED source, what are the things which are required? Basically, there are a couple of things which are very critical. What is the distance from the LED to the surface? What is the dosage requirement? And I did mention here the surface finish to be disinfected, because one of the things to remember is it's not only the distance which is critical, but if the smoothness of the surface. Because if you have a material which have a lot of nooks and crannies, the microbe can actually hide behind those nooks and crannies. And you, even though you are giving the enough dosage onto the surface, the microbe is not really seeing that. So you need to consider the surface finish when you are doing the disinfection. And a very classic example would come into mind is surfaces of an apple versus a cantaloupe. So if you look at visibly, the apple surfaces are very smooth compared to the surface of the cantaloupe. So what I have done here is I have gone and done a basic calculation, and I'm trying to show what we can do. So for example, if you have a working distance of 1 centimeter, what is the beam diameter? What would be the density at the overlap? And what I mean by overlap over here is that when you place two LEDs next to each other, you need to make sure that you are getting a continuous coverage on a surface you are trying to disinfect. So this, where it is going to overlap, is going to be a very critical design factor when you are designing for with the multiple LEDs. And then what kind of a dosage you are going to achieve. So how would you really calculate this, the LEDs required for a given surface? So what I've said over here is basically you need to know what is the length and the width of the surface you are trying to disinfect. And the total number of LEDs required would be basically the length divided by 2.7. So the 2.7 number comes from the diameter based on a 1 centimeter working distance. Multiply that with the width divided by 2.7. Again, I'm saying that the working distance is 1 centimeter, and that's where the. So when you calculate these values, you'll get the total number of LEDs which would be required in your case for the surface disinfection application.